How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm alive and kicking. How are you doing?
Oh yeah,
Hey,
great.
all right. So while I gotta tell you a story real quick. So Penny walks in the office today, and just out of nowhere, just goes, "Hey, you want to teach a class for $550?" And in my head, I don't know exactly like what I just go, "Yeah, sure." And I'm thinking like, this is like a clinic, like a Saturday thing, like, get a little money, like a 8 to 4 on a Saturday, maybe a couple. I have no idea, and I just said sure. And he's like, all right. So I said, and he walked off, and then like 3 or 4 minutes later, I was like, hey, when is it? And he goes, this fall semester. And I'm like, what?
What are you teaching? A diversity class?
A basketball class.
Oh.
So I just had the bright idea. Guess what homework's going to be?
Watch the Mind of a Coach podcast.
Watch the Mind of a Coach podcast. It's literally it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. For like an hour, like right during lunch, first semester. So I'm teaching a class.
You're literally that's what you need to do. You need.
Dude, I'm like the adjunct professor. Like that's literally like that's essentially what I'm going to be doing.
That's amazing.
I know it's a basketball class.
So you're making $550 for a whole semester?
I get an extra $550 stipend for teaching a 1-credit class about basketball.
That's so worth it, though. I would do it.
That's what I know, man. I'm kind of excited. Like I really am excited.
Oh my gosh, yes. They have to watch the Mind of a Coach podcast, and they are going to be quizzed on it.
Exactly.
All right, who's liked? Who's subscribed?
Oh, man. That's funny. How you doing today, Doc?
I'm good. I'm busy. Brooke's moving into another school. She got a new job, which we're super excited about.
Yeah.
So moving into another school.
Congrats to her, by the way.
Thank you. I'll pass it on, or she'll just have to listen to this. But yeah, so just helping her move, helping some of our guys had some stuff going on. So just trying to help them with some stuff, and then a couple of our guys like trying to get in the gym. So
yeah.
Then from that, just preparing for the weekend, preparing for recruiting. So it's been busy today.
Where you headed this weekend?
I'm heading to Indianapolis.
Okay. I think Russ said he might go up there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, man.
It'll be good. I've seen I haven't. Well, I've seen Jerry.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I saw Jerry a while ago.
That was probably the BCAT thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, BCAT.
Yeah.
Anyway, besides you teaching a new class, Asa. Hey, look behind you. Nah, I'm just playing. Welcome into the Mind of a Coach podcast. This is episode 45. Welcome. Asa, you said you're doing well today. What does the rest of this week look like for you?
Oh, let's see. What's today? We'll record. This is Tuesday as we record. Man, pretty normal week. Yeah, pretty normal. Nothing changing. Same old. We're not doing shooting groups. Still got practice. They're still doing weights. I feel like. Not actually. Well, tomorrow they're off tomorrow. Master P is having his camp in the Venture Center, so we're not going to be able to use the Venture Center. That's going on.
1 out of 2 million right there. That's part of the profit.
Hey, whoa, hang on. 45. Donovan Mitchell. That's all I got right now.
Honestly, I'm glad you said something because I was literally about to say who you got for this podcast.
Yeah. We'll leave it
Donovan Mitchell's perfect for me. Keep it that way.
Yep.
Hey, I do want to shout out before we go any further. Coach Massey. Great episode, man. Mm-hmm. Great episode.
Yeah.
And going back, so he texted us before this episode started, and it was about Alabama's not starting quarterback. It might be their starter, but Alabama's quarterback making around almost $1 million without taking a snap.
Yeah.
I mean, then the NIL is just wow.
Yeah. We got another.
But it's a good thing.
We got another kid that's got some signing. It's got a signing coming up at like a clothing store. Here in Nashville. So I've heard of a lot of things, people getting a lot of stuff. So we'll see. It may slow down eventually. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, good for all those guys.
Well, are you going to ask me? I mean, come on. Do I have to beg you to ask me what I got to get off my chest this week?
Nothing to get off there.
What?
No, it needs to stay. Go ahead. Get off.
Well, I wanted you to watch the Space Jam thing, Nate.
Well, you better not tell me about it.
The news. Oh, it's a kids movie, dude. It's not like I can spoil a kids movie for you. I just want to say this about the Space Jam thing. It did what it's a kids movie, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. And
so you're angry about the people that are upset about the movie.
well, I'm angry at the way that people are watching the movie. It's a kids movie, dude, and they're sitting here talking about like, yeah, it's supposed to be corny and cheesy and all that. But dude, the movie did exactly what it was supposed to do. And what do we talk about all the time is the biggest enemy to these kids, social media. And the main enemy what's big on social media? Algorithms. Algorithm was the main enemy in Space Jam 2. There was kind of some witty, smart, funny things to it. It wasn't all bad. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So if you haven't watched it, I guess we're advocating for Space Jam 2. So go check it out. 31% on Rotten Tomatoes, but better than it actually is given on Rotten Tomatoes, according to ASA. So go check it out. I actually need to check it out really bad.
Yeah. I was hoping you were going to be.
I was going to go, and the last showing time on Friday when it was released was at 6:30.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, I can't go at 6:30. I was like,
Why
would they not be showing it later?
Oh.
Yeah,
well, I will say this about Space Jam. I watched it. So I started watching it Friday night, and I turned it off about 12 minutes into it. I was like, I can't do it. And then I was like, I thought about it, pondered on it, and then Saturday I was like, I got to give it another go, and I'm glad I did.
So you watch it on HBO Max?
Yep.
Okay. Maybe that's where I should watch it.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, do that, dude.
How much does it cost to do it on HBO Max?
I mean, if you are subscribed to HBO Max, you don't have to pay for it. It's just.
I don't think I'm subscribed to HBO Max.
I mean, yeah, you got to be subscribed.
Gotcha.
Which that's not cheap, but whatever.
Yep. All right. Well, we're good. Well, without further ado, you ready?
Let's do it. My man.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, Keaton?
How are you doing?
Trying to survive.
I hear that.
Oh, you been all right?
Played some golf this morning, so I'm good.
Oh, I think you're surviving. You're surviving. I'm already jealous. Hey, you're welcome anytime on this podcast with that intro right there, because this is the world's famous golfing podcast. So,
hey, come say what's up. Keaton. Yeah. I wanted to get you in here a second ago. Got the man. Is he froze? You froze, Keaton?
Oh, my gosh. What's up, brother?
What up, KB? My favorite teammate of all time.
Dude, I've got you full if you think that.
What up, Nate?
What's going on?
Man, chilling. Y'all doing the show tonight?
Yeah, we about to. Yeah.
Something like that.
They're gonna teach me some things.
It must be running out of gas.
That's what I said.
My own teammate couldn't even deliver a Kentucky signee to me. What kind of stuff is that?
Well, hey, you gotta tell that story real quick.
I ain't gonna lie, it's funny because he told me since he was in ninth grade, like, Penny, I got a kid. I'm like, he don't know what he's talking about. This is a young high school coach. He don't know no better. It's like, no, seriously, he can play. I'm like, whatever. 10th grade, I think ninth grade average, 20-something game. 10th grade, 20-something, 28. He was 11th grade. I said, let me go see this dude. All right. Well, actually, I didn't go see him his 11th grade year. 11th grade year, 30. He getting 40s and 50s in games. Senior year, I go see him. He goes to Kentucky. But he did tell me.
He was averaging like 45 that year, wasn't he?
Yep,
At one point.
45 a game.
He got hurt before the season
Yep.
ended. Boy, he's talented.
Hey, tell him about Space Jam real quick. Tell Nate and Keaton about Space Jam because you got much more credibility with this than I do.
What I think about Space Jam 2?
Yeah, what you think about Space Jam 2?
I mean, it's just the age-old thing about LeBron needs help, and he has to go get Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, and Anthony Davis. Well, it's the same thing. He had to go get the Matrix, Harry Potter, Wizard of Oz, Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. He had to get everybody in his movie to make it poppin'. So I was like, and then still we ain't got Anthony Davis, Don Taurasi, Damian Lillard. He got King Kong in the movie. I'm like, damn, how much help do you need, LeBron? Golly.
He's lying. He was not saying that the first time after he saw the movie.
We got so much help, bro.
That's a good conversation. Like, in what Giannis is doing, if they win tonight, like, isn't that more impressive than what LeBron did with the stacked teams?
Yes.
Oh my!
I mean, and they were down 0-2.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is, man. But you know what? I still respect LeBron, and
I like him. I don't love him.
I respect.
You know, Larry Bird's my guy.
All right, hey. All right, we got to show that.
I come from the generation of Larry Bird stayed with the Celtics, Magic stayed with the Lakers, Isaiah stayed with the Pistons, Mike stayed with the Bulls.
He really didn't though, because he left in the middle of the whole run.
Hey, and Kareem left the Bucks too.
Michael Jordan left because
Kareem left the Bucks.
His father died.
He was gambling.
He was dealing with personal problems.
You don't know that, Asa.
David Stern kicked him out.
He went to play baseball, and then he came back and won 3 straight. What are we talking about?
David Stern kicked him out.
Okay, that's cool. He still came back and won 3 straight.
Well, so that says more about your Tim Duncans and your Kobe Bryant staying with the franchise this day and age.
Yeah, real goats.
Real goats.
Real goats. All right, man.
I agree with that.
Have a good show. Good to see you, KB.
You ready?
Oh my gosh.
You
All right, here we go. Appreciate the man, Coach Penny, coming on and talking. That was fun, man. Oh, that was cool. All right, okay. Hey, now back to the show. We got Coach Keaton Belcher on the show with us today. He is from Kentucky, played high school basketball at Pendleton County High School. Made his way to Belmont University, where he played 4 years there. Moved on to becoming a graduate assistant at Eastern Kentucky University before doing 1 year at Ravenwood High School here in Nashville for the JV girls. Went on to be an assistant at Pendleton County back at his alma mater, before being named the head coach there, where he was at for 5 years. And then Coach Keaton, you just moved on 3 years. This is going on your 3rd season at Ryle High School in Northern Kentucky. Coach, man, appreciate you coming on today. How you doing? What's new with you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I've watched a lot of your podcasts so far. You're doing a fantastic job. I'm flattered to be on this. Doing well. Getting ready for school to start here in a month. We'll start workouts again here soon, but really excited about where we're at and what we've done at Ryle so far.
Yeah. Well, a little bit ago, you kind of mentioned, I guess, how it's been a kind of a massive transition for you. Talk to us about it. What's it been like?
Yeah, so my principal at Pendleton County took the Ryle job, so I kind of followed him, and I saw that by far the worst team in the school was the boys basketball team. They were 6-21. The culture was bad. There were kids quitting. And I saw a school with 2,000 kids, like, how are all these other sports winning and are competitive and boys basketball is not? So I kind of took that as a challenge. I feel like we've done some good things in 2 years. We've made great strides. I feel like with what we have coming back next year, we host the district tournament. We feel good about where we're at going in year 3. So there's starting to become some excitement in our community about our boys basketball team. It is fun for the kids and what we have accomplished in the first 2 years.
Awesome. So how about let's go step back to Belmont real quick. Actually, hang on, my fault. I don't want to do that. What I want to talk about is this. Kind of obviously talking to 2 Tennessee kids. Kentucky high school basketball is like football here in Tennessee, right? It's kind of like its own religion. The setup is different, tournament's different. I know you've taken many trips even after you were done playing to go to the Sweet 16. Just kind of talk to us about what Kentucky high school basketball has meant to you in your basketball journey, your playing journey, your coaching journey, and just kind of the whole scope of Kentucky high school basketball.
Yeah, I guess it comes from when I was a kid. My grandparents and my parents would take my brothers and I to the Sweet 16 at Rupp Arena. And Kentucky's different than any other state because there's only one class. Like, if you win your regional, you're one of 16 teams to make the state tournament, which is a huge deal, especially for a team like Pendleton County who never hardly goes. And it's a really small town. I guess I just became infatuated with how big of a deal it was to represent your community and be one of those Sweet 16 teams at the state tournament. And, luckily when I was a player, we got to do it. I have not done it as a coach. That's, on my bucket list to do it, to accomplish that goal, but it's extremely hard to get there. There have been so many really good coaches in Kentucky not make the state tournament. Mm-hmm. Not to say that, I'm biased towards Kentucky because I grew up here, but there's a lot of talented players all over the country, Tennessee included. So a lot of my teammates at Belmont were from Tennessee, and I got to see how good they were. But Kentucky's special to me just because I grew up here, and there's 280 schools, and we're all fighting for one state champion.
Certainly. All right. So, hey, how'd you get to Belmont?
I was just thinking about this story. So the reason I went to Belmont is because of Bruce Pearl. Here's why. I was being recruited from a lot of mid-major schools, Western Kentucky, Belmont, Samford, Coastal Carolina, William & Mary, a lot of schools, about the same enrollment, trying to make their rise to be an NCAA tournament team consistently and win an NCAA tournament game. So when I visited Belmont, I went twice. I went on my unofficial and official. My family fell in love with the campus. Of course, Nashville is an awesome city. The coaching staff had been together for like 7 or 8 years in a row, which is very rare for Division I. And the teammates were such good dudes. And I'm kind of a dork myself, and I felt like there were a bunch of dorks on Belmont's team. And that's one of the reasons why I loved it so much.
Yeah.
So Matthew Dotson, Coach Byrd was very honest with me. He said, there's this guy locally named Matthew Dotson from Centerville, Tennessee. We like him a little more than you. He was obviously better. And if he chooses to go anywhere else, you get that scholarship. So Matthew Dotson commits to the University of Tennessee with Buzz Peterson. Buzz Peterson leaves. Bruce Pearl comes in. Something happened in the roster change where Matthew Dotson was not one of Bruce's guys. Okay. So he went to Tennessee. I got the Belmont scholarship. Dotson comes back to Belmont. He walks on the first year, and we're roommates. We become best friends. We just saw each other 3 days ago and had lunch together in Cincinnati. So, and that we met 16 years ago. So I really need to start writing Bruce Pearl letters and thanking him for that whole conflict there with Dotson. But Belmont's a fantastic school for me, and this is what I tell recruits now: like, pick a place where you would go to school even if you didn't play basketball. That's what it's about, because basketball is a huge part of your college experience, but it's also a small part at the same time where you've got to figure out your niche and what you're in. So, like I said, a lot of the Belmont guys were just like me. They like playing golf. They love music. They love trivia and statistics. And, I was like, man, these guys are my guys. So Belmont was where I wanted to go, and it worked out. Thank you, Matthew Dotson, for going to Tennessee to start so I could get that scholarship to Belmont.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's an amazing story. That's an amazing story. How was it being a GA at Eastern?
It was a great learning experience, guys, but it was also different because I was at Belmont for 5 years. Okay. And I redshirted, Dotson came back and played that first year as a walk-on, but he was better than me. He scored 1,000 points. I did not. He was a all-conference player. Like, I redshirted that first year. I wasn't going to see many minutes. It was Penny's senior year when we went to the NCAA tournament. So I was there. I was at Belmont 5 years. I was used to doing things the Belmont way. Rick Byrd, Casey Alexander, Roger Eastrom, Brian Ayers. I mean, you talk about 4 great dudes, 4 great coaches, and I thought that was the only way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
I think Belmont's the only way to do things just because that's all I know from college basketball. So I get to Eastern, and the coach that hires me as GA is Jeff Neubauer. And the reason I got the job at Eastern is because we scrimmaged EKU all 5 years I was at Belmont. So Coach Byrd and Coach Neubauer were friends. They're still friends. So Coach Byrd put in a decent word for me. I get on there. I got my grad school paid for. I didn't get a stipend or anything. And, man, the first month, I'm like, man, this is so much different than Belmont. Like, how are these programs doing things completely different, but also at the same time they're successful? Because Coach Neubauer coached 2 NCAA tournaments in the OC and beat Murray State one of those years, beat Belmont one of those years. I guess it was a hard adjustment for me because I love Belmont so much, and I'm like, well, why are they doing it this? So I knew probably mid-season that I was going to go back to high school and coach because it was a better fit for me and my personality, and I knew I was probably going to go back to Kentucky at some point. So I'm grateful for the friends that I met there. I'm grateful for Coach Neubauer, who's a very, very good coach and X's and O's genius on offense. He's under the John Beeline tree.
Yeah.
So, no, great experience, but wasn't what Belmont was. And, I think if you talk to anybody that spent 5 years in a program and then made that quick switch, they'd probably be in the same boat.
So what was so it's I don't know. Let's say a Wednesday during the season. What does your day look like as a GA at that time?
So this is something I wasn't used to. So at Belmont, none of the coaches check classes every day, right? We were all 3.5 GPA or better. We all come from honor roll high schools. Like, we were all good student athletes. At EKU, it's a little different. Coach Neubauer demanded that I would go to the 8 a.m. class, make sure all those dudes were there, 9 a.m. class. So I was literally walking and running all over campus every single day. Before that, I was making the pot of coffee in the coach's office before the other staff members got in. And at the time when I was 23, I didn't even drink coffee. So I got a couple stories on that. They're probably need to be off the record. Anyway, so that's what I would do. Make the coffee, class checks. I was doing all the printouts and mailing out to recruits. That was one of my jobs. I would sit at the front desk. I would answer the phone almost like a receptionist. And then I would get ready for practice. I was actually on scout team every single day when I was at EKU.
Wow.
So that was an adjustment. We had assistant coaches on scout team at EKU. That
Really?
was, to me, yeah, I just wasn't used to that.
Yeah, we had that at Missouri Western.
Yeah, at Belmont and Lipscomb, we didn't have coaches around there.
Yeah.
Coach Draven would have worked all of us.
Yeah.
Coach Draven is a phenomenal player, a phenomenal shooter, obviously. We were at Belmont kids camp one year, and he came back home to work, or came back to Nashville to work the kids camp, and there was a huge staff knockout game. And it came down between me and him, and I got really lucky, and he got a bad bounce, ricocheted out far, and so I beat him. And he still to this day gets on me. He's like, I can't believe you beat me in that knockout game that day at camp. So Steve Draven, great guy, great coach.
Oh, I guarantee you he went back and got up shots. Everybody left. He went and got up shots.
Isn't his record free throw like 490 or 592 or something?
No, it's 354 in a row.
Okay, all right. That's still, asinine.
It's cartoonish. I think he led the country in free throw percentage 1 year, 2 years.
His junior year, he shot like 92 or 93%.
Yeah, he might have been 94. He was the leading.
Oh, yeah, it might have been 94.
Yeah, in the country that year. I remember that.
Yeah, phenomenal. But, hey, Coach, I have a question. So going back to your time at Belmont and I guess transitioning to where you are now, what are some of the biggest lessons you have taken away from your time at Belmont and you currently have instilled into your program today?
Coach Byrd was great at making sure the 15th player was just as important as the first player. So that's probably the biggest thing. When you're running a program, your bench guys that are great teammates, the consummate teammates, they've got to be just as important as your key players. And if you don't treat them that way, you're going to lose a lot of respect from a lot of people. Because a lot of times your best players are really good friends with the 15th best player.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd be surprised how often that happens. So that's probably the biggest thing. Coach Byrd was great about letting us be regular students in the off season. We don't go super hard in the off season. I want our guys to be fresh by the tournament. So those two things, being fresh, letting our players be regular students in the off season, and also making sure that the end of your bench is very, very special in the program.
Yeah. So 1 second. I want to go in. So how does that look differently in high school basketball and college basketball about the off season and having your guys prepared for the tournament?
Yeah, great question. So in Kentucky, we start practice October 15th. That's like a state holiday for every 280 schools. Mm-hmm. And when your season ends in February or March, we'll give guys 2 or 3 weeks off. And then the week after spring break, we'll get back going again. We'll get in the weight room. We'll do individual workouts. We'll start open gyms. And then in June, we have a live period where you can play as many games as you want until June 25th. So this year we literally played 31 games. I think we led the state of Kentucky in games played this year. And I won that because we didn't have a summer last year because of COVID. So we had a winning record, which at Ryle boys basketball, that's a good thing right now. So that's positive. And then we have what's called dead period, June 25th through July 9th. That time is for our families and our players and coaches to go on vacation, get time away. And then we're in this area we're in this time right now from, I guess, July 10th through Labor Day, where we don't do a whole lot. We give our guys a lot of time off because when we start back after Labor Day, we go pretty hard 3 or 4 days a week. And that'll take you right into that October 15th practice start date.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
Are you teaching right now? You teach, don't
So
you?
I taught for 9 years. I just got our athletic director position, so I'll be coaching and doing AD work now.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I think I might have bit off more than I can chew.
So what does that
Baptized by fire. So we have 24 sports at Ryle. I think yesterday I heard from 18 of the 24 coaches, not including me. So like you'd be surprised at how many spring sport coaches contacting the AD in the middle of the summer. It's been a lot. It's been an adjustment, but I really do like the role of getting those a lot more student athletes that I wouldn't have got to know before. So yeah, I do enjoy it.
That's awesome.
I want to ask you because when you got the head coaching job back at Pendleton County, I just assumed you were going to be there till you were 75. I mean, I could easily see that you played there, you love it there. I know how much you love it. So and you did mention earlier that I guess you said the principal went to Ryle. Is that right?
Yeah, the principal at Ryle is one of my good friends, Matt Schaefer. He was the head principal at Pendleton when I was there.
Okay.
And you know what? That's a great question. It was a hard decision to leave my hometown. My parents still live there. I have a lot of family and friends there. And I'm sure, just like you, Asa, there are a lot of people questioning why he would leave.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I met a Northern Kentucky girl. We live closer to Cincinnati. It was time for me to spread my wings a little bit and meet new people and grow in my profession and see if I could coach in a different region. And it has been a lot of ups and downs. I'm not going to lie. There's been some tough nights, but I knew in my heart that long term that it was probably a good thing for me to experience a different place to coach at besides my hometown. Because sometimes it's not easy coaching in your hometown. You get to know.
Yeah, same as like playing in your. Yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm. It can be difficult, and I cherish the 7 years that I spent there as a teacher and a coach. We had some really good teams, and obviously we had Dante come through, but I knew deep down that at some point I need to probably make a career move and venture out and meet new people.
That's awesome. I have a question, and it's regarding your playing style. Do you think your playing style has translated into your coaching style?
That's a great question. I would say yeah. I mean, I think Asa kind of remembers me as a player. I was a spot 3-point shooter. Like at Belmont, we didn't really work on mid-range a whole lot.
Oh, wow.
I was the coach. It was all layup. So I either had a dunk or a three. That was it. Nothing in between. Maybe the occasional free throw, but I didn't drive it because I was a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. But I think my personality was, a kind of a quiet, competitive person where I'm not going to get up in somebody's face and yell at a teammate. I'm not going to do that to a player now as a coach. I was more about getting my point across by either leading by example or doing it in kind of a calm, conservative way, if that makes sense. So I would guess it did translate from my playing days to my coaching days.
How long did it take you to kind of find that in the coaching?
Great question. No, my first year as a freshman head basketball coach, I remember we were at Transylvania summer camp, and I was coaching a game. It was like my first or second game ever as a coach, and where I had my own team. And I was trying to coach like my high school coach, like getting on kids hard, like super demanding. And I'm like, I thought about that after the game. I'm like, that's not me. I'm that guy. Even though Coach Biggs, my high school coach, was very successful doing it that way. And I probably don't play Division I basketball without him. Mm-hmm. But every coach has their own niche. Every coach has their own personality. And you should try to do what fits best for your style, not somebody else. So really early on, I could tell that my playing career mirrored my coaching career.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I mean that's something that players sense too when you're trying to be something you're not. We talked about that on here a good bit. Well, let's can we talk about Dante Allen? Yeah, I mean isn't that Dante Allen, right? Yeah. So what was it like watching him through his years coaching him?
You know what, I still think he's the hardest working player I've seen, and that was in high school. Mm-hmm. He would get to the gym literally at 6 a.m. before school started. We started school at 8 a.m. He was there 2 hours before school started getting shots up or going to the weight room on his own. Now, I would unlock the gym. I would turn the lights on. I would occasionally rebound. I would set up the gun or the Dr. Dish, but he was doing 99% of that work on his own. So he is going to be an NBA player. I fully believe that because of his work ethic. Now, some God-given ability where he's just naturally talented, but I really think he's gotten to where he is now at the University of Kentucky because of his work ethic. As a coach, I'm not joking when I say I stayed out of his way. Like when the game started, I didn't overcall stuff. I didn't try to get in his way. I would literally try to just let him go and make a play. And I've always been taught the better the player, the more room you give him. So I let him do his thing. And he was such a good passer and such a good rebounder where we would win games where he would outscore the other team by himself. He was that talented. So I'm so happy for him. If he doesn't,
That's crazy.
if he doesn't leave early, he'll have 3 years left. 3 years left at Kentucky, which I grew up a Kentucky fan and deal for our hometown and my family and and my friends. So when I watch a UK game now, like obviously I want Kentucky to win because I grew up a Kentucky fan, but I'm rooting for Dante Allen to play well. And if Cal takes him out, I'm like, why is he taking him out? Like that's my like I'm a dad. But yeah, special player. But my favorite thing about Dante Allen is he's a great person.
Yeah,
phenomenal young man.
Did you get to talk to Calipari quite a bit during that process?
No, actually. So it's funny you say that. So we had a satellite camp a month ago at Ryle, and that was the first time I ever talked to Cal.
Oh, yeah, okay.
During the whole recruiting process, he let his assistants do the bulk of the recruiting. Kenny Payne, who's with the Knicks now, Joel Justice, John Robick, they did all the recruiting with Dante, which is funny because, like, Dante had 25 offers, and like Matt Painter would call, and we would talk. Chris Mack, who was transitioning from Xavier to Louisville, would call. John Beeline would call. Like it's weird how every program does it differently. But the experience for me was great too because I was talking to all these big time college coaches. And I'm like, I'm a high school coach, and I was on cloud nine.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wow, that's really cool. What did you and Cal talk about? Did you crack a joke at him or anything? Just hey man, why'd you play it?
No, the first thing that I said when we talked for the first time, I said, "Hey, are you going to get Belmont on the schedule this year?"
Really?
And he said, "They're too good. We're not going to play them." Because Coach Byrd and Cal were kind of friends when he was at Memphis.
Okay.
Okay.
A lot. So we did talk about Dante. It was really encouraging to hear his side of things, one-on-one and on a personal level about how much he cared about Dante and how bright he sees his future as.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Well, if you talk to Cal again, tell him that Lee needs a game. So if he wants to come play us, we're more than willing.
Hey, Cole Rose couldn't get that done for you?
Hey, he's at Palm Beach Atlantic now, so
I'm happy for him.
Yeah, he's going to do a great job there.
So I don't know if you knew this. Cole Rose was my roommate my freshman year.
So he was your roommate your freshman year? Because I was going to ask you if you played with him because I knew he was there with Penny.
Yeah.
Okay.
My freshman year, there were four of us in a apartment. It was me and Dotson on one side, and Shane Dansby and Cole Rose on the other side. So those are my first. Talk about three characters right there, man.
Oh my god!
So did Cole have the long hair at that time?
He was growing it out. When he first came to Belmont, he was shaved actually, but by exams in May, it was pretty long. He was getting that.
He came shaved, and Byrd let him grow it out that much longer.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a thing. It was like, I'm trying to think of a good example. It was maybe like a little bit shorter than like an Adam Morrison when he was at Gonzaga, like a little bit shorter than that.
That's hilarious. I didn't know.
It was longish.
Yeah, Cole definitely had some long hair when he was playing at Lee. Like he got the photos up, but yeah. So I guess he was a sophomore your freshman year.
He did 2 years. Okay, he did 2 years at Freed Hardman, 1 year, 2 years at Lee. So I guess
that's right. He
would have been and he redshirted, so he would have been a redshirt junior at Belmont.
Gotcha.
That's cool.
Wow.
Hey, all right, Keaton. So I was texting Nate the other day about that when I told him that we wanted to have you on, and I told him that you could teach basketball 1-on-1. You could be a professor and teach the class teach a class on basketball. What's some of your favorite basketball stories from your coaching journey? Just basketball journey in general. I want to hear some stories from you.
Oh man. So, all right, a few popped into my mind. I'm going to jot them down to make sure that I don't forget them. The first one is when I was in high school, we had a pretty good high school team. We were 29-5 that year and played all the best teams in Kentucky. But our first game of the year was against the number one team in the country, Oak Hill Academy. And Kevin Durant and I guarded each other that game. And so Kevin Durant was a junior. I was a senior. And I actually had 25 points. Coach Byrd was at that game because I had already signed with Belmont. Kevin Durant had 28 and was MVP of the game. So it's late they end up beating us by 30. It's late third quarter, and Eric Devendorf shooting a free throw for Oak Hill. I'm on the bottom block. Durant's next to me, and we're leaned over on our shorts. And I guess on their scouting report, it said that I had signed with Belmont. Kevin Durant spoke to me mid-game. He said, "So you're going to Belmont, right?" And I said, "Yeah. Where are you going?" He goes, "I don't know yet. Probably the league." Because my senior year was the last. I graduated in 05. My senior year, you could jump high school to NBA. His senior year, which was 06, you had to go 1 year college. So he went to Texas for the 1 year, and then obviously went to the NBA.
So he literally just missed it by a year.
And they hadn't announced that rule yet.
Yeah.
So he would have known he would have reclassified and probably gone.
Yeah, exactly. I was shocked that he talked to me because he was Kevin Durant at the time, but he wasn't KD. He wasn't Kevin Durant because he was still a junior, but he was like a top 5 player then in his class. In his senior year, he transferred to Montrose Christian, I think Baltimore, Washington D.C. But yeah, he said I don't know yet. Probably the league.
That's an amazing line.
And then I slid in and boxed him out.
Was he very hard to box out back then?
Yeah, he's so bony. He's super he's 6'9", maybe 6'10", super lanky. I always heard the rumor in high school he couldn't bench, or maybe his freshman year at Texas, he could not bench the bar.
At the combine.
It was at the combine. He couldn't bench 135.
He couldn't do 135.
He couldn't do a plate.
That's right.
So by the way, so if he did, there's no way he physically could have reclassified. I mean, I'm saying, remember how weak he was going into the league. If he had reclassified physically, I don't know if he would be that would have been a much bigger adjustment, much more of an adjustment.
I think he would have been just fine.
I think he
would have I think NBA people would have gotten with him, and he would have been just okay there, Asa.
NBA what ifs? What if KD reclassed to go to the league before the rule change?
You'd have one more year of money.
Keaton, what else you got?
All right, I got 2 more stories from college.
Okay.
So I redshirted my first year. My freshman year, we made the NCAA tournament for the second year in a row. We were a 15 seed. We played Georgetown in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at Wake Forest. So it was my first time playing on CBS. So it's a big deal from a small town kid, Butler, Kentucky, population 500. My whole county's watching this game, okay? And my parents are at the stadium, at the arena. And I check in off the bench, and I get matched up with Patrick Ewing Jr. Okay, Patrick Ewing Jr. is on this team. And somebody shot a 3 for Georgetown. I forget, maybe Sapp. Sapp actually killed. They had Hibbert, Jeff Green, and Patrick Ewing Jr., but this guy, Sapp, killed us. He had 21 points, and he averaged 5 a game. Anyway, so my prime time, I'm on CBS for the first time in my life. I'm 20 years old, and I go to box out Patrick Ewing Jr. I catch him with a hard elbow to the throat, okay, on accident. When you get hit in the throat by anything, especially your elbow, and I've got skinny, I'm really skinny. I've got pointy elbows. It's going to hurt. So we run back down the court, dead ball, and I knew he was pissed. I knew he was super mad. And all I hear is, "Hey, bitch." And I did a slow, turn like this, scared to death. And it was him just staring at me. And 2 rows up behind him was his dad at the game. Yeah, at the game. And I remember I didn't say anything. I wanted to get checked out of the game as quickly as possible. I didn't want anything to do with it. But yeah, that's my Patrick Ewing Jr. story.
That is hilarious. Hey, you know what else? My dad was at that game. One of the cool things he told me about that was that I guess Belmont was getting blown out, or the game was out of reach at this point. And I guess the Georgetown fans were where is Belmont? That thing.
Yeah.
And then the rest, the rest of the stadium, because they were underdog, the rest of the arena started chanting out, "What's a Hoya?"
Yeah. You're right. That did happen.
Yeah. Anyway.
You said you have one more. I gotta hear this other one.
I'm a big golf guy.
Yeah, I mean this is the golf.
I played like 48 times last year during COVID because there's nothing else to do. So my senior year we played.
I got you beat.
Oh, that many times?
Yeah, I was at about 60 to 65 last year.
That's a lot of golf, Asa.
I was at like 5, 6.
Did you get any better? Because I didn't get any better.
I got better. I did get better. I got better. Now, I didn't say I got good, but I got better.
I think I'm a 10 handicap, and I could play 1,000 times. That's going to stay at 10. So
yeah.
I will say this: this morning we played the course we have a nice course on our campus where our golf team plays, and I had 29 putts. I was really proud of that. It was the first time in a long time that I broke 30 putts. And I broke 80 out of 79. So,
hey,
today's been a good day.
Yeah, and you get to come on the podcast.
Remind me to come back to the stat
Okay.
that you just gave, because I got something I want to say. But continue.
All right. So, my senior year, we played at Kansas. It was December 29th, 2009, and I'm a senior captain on that team. And Coach Byrd, who knows everybody, who's also a huge golfer, scratch golfer, he invites Tom Watson to dinner. Okay. We're in Lawrence, Kansas. Tom Watson is originally from Kansas City. We're at dinner, a team dinner. We just flew into Kansas City, and Tom Watson is sitting a table away from me. Okay. We then go to the Fog Allen Fieldhouse for like a semi half-hearted shoot around. When I say that, we just walked in just to look at the place. We walked around the Hall of Fame, which it's still the best place I've ever played or been to as far as college basketball. And that's coming from a Kentucky fan. Fog Allen Fieldhouse is so awesome. The building is 100 years old. They pack every game. It's a blast. Tom Watson comes with us to the Fieldhouse. Tom Watson and Brandon Baker, our teammate, play a game of horse. And we're all watching it. And, a lot of my teammates didn't care because they don't like golf. But I was in heaven. Got to talk to Tom Watson. I think he's won 10 majors or something crazy like that. It was cool hanging out with him that night as an avid golfer. Now, Baker whipped his butt in horse. Watson is a terrible shot. Baker had a shot. I think it maybe gave him R or S. He stood out of bounds on the baseline, probably 15 away from the basket, jumped from out of bounds, inbounds, and banked it off the backboard. Like if you think about it,
What?
Yeah.
Wait, so did he run and jump or
no?
Okay,
Stood flat-footed with his foot right next to the out of bounds line, out of bounds. Jumped inbounds and kind of hardcore ricocheted with some funky spin off the square and went in. I don't know how he did it. I still don't know how he did it. He started like on his right side or his left side and went back to his right and threw it. If you ever Baker, ask him about it.
I've never seen. Heard of that.
Did Tom even attempt the shot?
Probably not. I mean, if he did, it was not close. Casey was there. Ask Casey about it.
Was he?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Brandon played with him because he was really the only one besides you that cared about Tom, that cared who Tom Watson was.
Well, and Baker was like the team clown too. He was like just to get people to laugh at what was going on. He was going to get out there and do it.
Yeah. All right. So a second ago you brought up the putts. I'm not talking about golf right now, but you brought up how you had, what you say, 29 putts today. All right, and so it got me thinking about a story that from back when you were in college, and talk to us about the warm-up stats.
So I forgot about that actually. So, okay. So I'm in my 4th year at Belmont. I redshirted. I'm in my 3rd year playing. And I guess I was just getting bored. I guess I got bored with the normal warm-up routine, you know, the clock, 20 minutes, like not a whole lot going on. People in the stands are going to their seats. Like you might wave at your family or girlfriend or something. But I took upon myself I was going to keep my stats in warm-ups, just my points, just my point total every game that season. I kept it on a I got the napkin from Belmont's cafeteria. I wrote the name of the team and the amount of points that I scored. And I kept my average too. I have a Bible. That napkin is still in my Bible at my house. So I forget what I averaged, but I could tell you my career low and my season low and my season high.
Hang on, can I guess it? Because wasn't your season high like was it 108?
96.
96. 90 at UT.
And you couldn't hit 100?
Couldn't get 100. But I'm telling you, okay.
He would text my dad, Nate, like you know, a day after the game, like I had 78 points in warm-ups last night.
No, Danny would text me the night of the game and say, "How many did you get tonight?"
Okay.
And I would say 68 in warm-ups, 8 in the game. So I had, for some reason, when I was in college, we always, during the national anthem, we would always not be out for I don't know why. We would always be in the tunnel when the anthem was going on. I don't know how it worked out that way because in high school, we're always out there for the anthem. So we're playing at ETSU one night, which I always shot well there in the old dome. And I had 96 points. I swear, guys, I missed like 3 shots the entire warm-up. Like a layup's 2, a jump shot's 2, and a three's 3. 96. My field goal percentage was ungodly, okay? My low, we played at the University of Tennessee. And we almost won that game, actually. Alex Renfro had a great game.
Oh, I remember that game.
I had like 32 points because for some reason that game was on CSS. Is that still a station?
I don't think it's still a station, but
it's probably called something different now. Or
Mm-hmm.
CSS was doing that game, and for some reason the cameras made both teams stay on the court for the national anthem. And no, I messed that up. Every other game they did the national anthem maybe after the time expired, like after the 20 minutes. At UT they did it during the warm-up time. So I got screwed. So I lost a lot of time, and I had a bad shooting warm-up. I had 32 that game.
Dude, I love that. I wanted you to bring that up. I asked that Nate because he when he said he was a nerd earlier, he wasn't lying. But it's so cool because this man has stats on top of stats and dates on top, just numbers galore. He can tell you everything.
That is so amazing. I wish I had done that in college.
I know that is great. I've never heard one person do that ever.
And so historically at Belmont, the banquet after the season, the seniors speak, and you give like a 5-minute speech. Before Coach Byrd introduced me to come speak my senior year, he pretty much didn't talk about anything of my playing career at all or what kind of person I was. He just pretty much said, well, he just has a bunch of stuff that he keeps, and he talks about his stats and some weird baseball trivia. And that's pretty much what he said. And I went up there and gave my speech.
Hey, how crazy is this? I was at that banquet.
I bawled like a baby at that banquet.
You bawled. I remember that. I was at that banquet.
I thanked your dad, actually, at that banquet. I gave him some credit.
Yeah, I remember that. Hey, man, all right, this has been a blast. Can we do some rapid fire? We got to wrap up here soon. You want to do some rapid fire questions with us?
Yes.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right, okay, here we go. Last technical.
January of 2020.
Did you deserve it?
Yes.
What'd you do?
I never had one technical as a player. I've had 2 as a head coach.
What did you do to deserve this last one?
I said some words that Coach Byrd would never say. So that's a funny. So I swear, in my 5 years, like Coach Byrd is maybe the most competitive person I've ever met. Casey's up there too.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Bird's maybe said 5 cuss words my entire career at Belmont.
Yeah.
Like, get on you. He would make it sting a lot harder by just like telling you something in a soft voice rather than like cussing at you. If that makes sense.
Who do you think stung harder, Casey or Byrd? Can we ask that?
I'm interested.
Casey was but here's the thing. You knew it was coming from Casey at some point. You knew it was coming from Coach Byrd at some point. But if Coach Ayers or Coach Eastrom threw a dagger, you knew that it was bad.
Uh-huh.
Because they're super nice dudes.
Yeah, absolutely. The nicest of dudes. Okay, I'm not. You've dunked a basketball in a 10-foot rim. That's obvious. You had a foul. All right, you were up 3 at the end of a game. Do you foul or let it play out?
I've been fouling as of late.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It's just I've had some luck with it recently as a coach. We've been fouling as of late. Early in my career, I never would have thought twice about it, but
Really,
I've been fouling lately.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Leave your best player in with two fouls in the first half.
Yes, if they have 3 going in the second half, you're good. Still good time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Go for the tie. Go for the win.
I'm going to use the old cliche: on the road win, at home tie.
At home tie. Okay. Casual or professional on the sidelines?
Casual.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Early morning practice or evening or night practice?
Morning.
If you were not coaching basketball, what would you be doing?
When I was in high school, my first career goal was I was going to be a golf course superintendent. So something to do with the golf course.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And which leads into our next question, what's your handicap in golf? You say it's a 10?
9.6.
9.6. You said you shot a 79 today? 29 putts. That's impressive. Very well. How many times have you broken 80? A good bit?
In my life?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was in high school, I was like a 5.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. All right. Should every team make the conference tourney?
No.
Last one. I'm not going to ask you what I normally would. I'm going to say I'm going to do this. I say Larry Byrd. You say
Goat.
Yeah. What about Larry Byrd?
I was always connected with him because we were both from small towns.
Mm-hmm.
You know, French Lick. I'm from Butler, Kentucky. We both were guards at a young age. Like I played point guard as a kid, and I grew to be 6'9". Larry Byrd 6'9". Larry Byrd went to a mid-major. I just felt like so many similarities to us. I love making the extra pass. He did as well. I also think what he did, you know, when he got to the Celtics, they were in a bad spell. They were really bad. He turned the franchise around quickly. And I just always respected how hard he worked on his own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, man. Well, cool. That's all.
Hey, last one.
I've got one more Coach Byrd story too. What's that?
You got the Bucks or Suns tonight?
Yeah, but Suns had their chance. The Bucks wrap it up at home.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
over.
I agree.
I think it's over. All right, last Coach Byrd story. What you got?
Okay. Speaking of golf, so every year at Belmont we did 3 preseason activities before school even starts. We would do a par 3 course. We would do softball, and we would do bowling. It was coaches and newcomers versus returning players. Okay. So on the golf part, it was Coach Byrd and Ian Clark on a team against me and Cheryl Byrd, Coach Bird's wife. Okay. We get down to the 9th hole, and I make like a 10-footer to win the match. Of course, Coach Byrd is ultra competitive. Like he's going to be in the Naismith Hall of Fame. And we were supposed to be off the next day, not have no practice, nothing. And we're eating barbecue at Coach Bird's house, like a back-to-school, you know, team get-together. And we're all stuffing our face with hot barbecue. And Coach Byrd, still furious, he walks into the living room and he says, "We're gonna do the 6. What's the old sprints? The 6 ladder.
Oh, the ladders.
The 1 through 6.
1 through 6. The bigs. Yeah, 1 through 6.
He walks to the living room and says, "Guys, we're gonna do the 1 through 6 tomorrow at 7 a.m." Everybody on the team looked at me and blamed me for that because we were supposed to be off. And Penny, Penny used to say he used to say this quote: "When I see the 1 through 6, I see death."
Yeah.
It's that hard.
And Penny was really good at that 1 through 6, wasn't he?
He had always finished in the top 3 every time. He was phenomenal.
Oh, I remember hearing about that 1 through 6, and that sounds like just the most awful.
And we did it 3 times every preseason. I did it 15 times in my career.
Y'all did it 3 times every preseason?
Because you're supposed to get better each time.
Uh-huh.
And the coaches would post the times in the locker room, so you saw it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Something else Belmont did when I was there, they would post your practice stats in the locker room, like rebounds, turnovers, assists. They would watch every film and put the stats in the locker room.
Yeah, Casey did that for us. They all did. All right, Keaton. Hey, man, we got to wrap up here. But, dude, I appreciate you coming on. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Pleasure to have you on. Best of luck to you and your program this season. Where can everybody find you on Twitter?
At Keaton Belcher.
At Keaton Belcher.
It's a lot of nonsense.
Hey, so I actually read that article today that the email Q&A that somebody did with you, and they talked about your Twitter a lot, a lot of baseball. And
yeah, I talk about baseball and golf more than I do basketball.
Well, cool. If you want to find Keaton on Twitter, you can find him at Keaton Belcher. You can find myself on Instagram at the Ace of Spades with a C on the end. You can find Nathan on Instagram at Nate5_Moran. You can find Nate on Twitter at Coach Nate Moran. You can find Mind of a Coach on Instagram at Mind of a Coach, and you can find us on Twitter at Mind of a Coach Pod. I did that a little differently this week.
Hey, you killed it though. Everything was correct.
Yeah, it was correct. Keaton, again, appreciate you, man. Great to talk to you.
Yes, thank you for coming on.
Me, guys. Yeah, good luck this coming season.
Thank you.